Alrighty, I'm gonna go over the code plug setup for my XPR6550. I had a question on one of my videos on how I had it programmed or how to program it. So I have open here in the screen the Mototrbo CPS. This is the version 16. This is not 2.0, so I am using version 16 here. Some of the stuff in here I won't show you as it is used locally and only known to certain people, so I won't display some of like the talk group IDs. So I really didn't put much effort into setting up this code plug. I left a lot of the settings as default, as what it would come if I opened up the sample XPR6550 code plug, or just download it from a new radio. But I'll go through that here. As you can see, I have my radio name and radio ID set to my personal identification. The radio ID is used on DMR to identify your radio. So this ID is registered on, I believe it's DMR ID, or no, radioid.net. So that's my radio ID there. Basically, other radios could put this in and put an alias in there that it's me talking, and it'll display my name on their radio screen. That's kind of a simplified edition. All of this is really default. I didn't do anything, but if you wanted to change like your audio profile, your microphones, battery saver, alerts, any of that, you have the option to in here. But I just didn't. I didn't do that there. My accessories, again, default. I did not do anything there. My buttons, this is where I set things up. So the top emergency button, both on the a speaker mic and the radio, is an emergency button. The top side button, the purple button, is the scan on and off. Side button 2, I have zone selection. Side button 3 is high-low power and repeater talk around. P1, P2 on the front of the radio is the contact and the backlight on-off. And very similar settings for the accessories. I didn't set up one-touch access just because I didn't feel it was necessary. I also don't have text message set up, telemetry. I did not use the menu. I have pretty much everything in the menu besides a few things under utilities set up. Radio check, remote monitor, and radio enable and disable. I have all of them disabled there. Privacy, Vox, cable type, manual site roam, and site lock I will have disabled, as I don't use any of those. Security, I'm not using anything. Network, it's all default. All my signaling systems are default except for the emergency. I'm not using MDC. I'm not using Quick Call, Capacity Plus, or the phone. My digital emergency alarm type is regular, which, as you can see, it transmits an alarm signal and both provides video and audio indication that it's in emergency mode. My mode type is alarm with call, so it sends an emergency call, and once it sends that, when you push it to PTT, it'll also send your emergency. Our revert channel is the selected channel, so it will transmit the emergency on the channel which it is positioned on. TX interrupt, so if a transmission is occurring, the radio will interrupt that transmission and transmit its emergency. My contacts, I won't show you these. I'm not using MDC, Quick Call 2, Capacity Plus, or the phone. I'm only using my digital contacts here. In the digital contacts, this is where you can put in your um, talk group IDs. So you can also put in individual user IDs, which I have some of those in there. For instance, private calls, or if you wanted to have the ID of the radio show up when you were receiving a transmission of another user. That is in there. Um, Receive group list. Capacity Plus is not in use. FRS and CO Skywarn I have in there for those channels. Um, Basically, it pulls the talk group in. You will, on those channels, assign it to a receive group. That way, it's constantly scanning for those specific talk groups. At least that's my understanding of it. My channel list, I have a Central Illinois group. I have 2 analog ham repeater um, and a ham simplex zone. I have a FRS zone and a DMR FRS zone. The channels 1 through 16. I do have a scan list on just the analog FRS, just to listen. Don't have a roam list, and I'm not using Capacity Plus, so those are not in use. So that is the general kind of way my radio is set up. Hopefully that answered the question on how it's programmed or how to program. I don't really like doing in-depth videos on how to program them, just because it takes so much time to go through and fully program a radio. You'll probably spend 30 minutes to an hour making a video programming a radio. So I won't do a full how-to, but just a general idea here. So thanks for watching, and 73s.